friends, let us start this new lesson, measurement of matter. Okay, so see, in this lesson you are going to study about laws of chemical combination, then atom, that is shape, mass and valency. Okay, so you are going to study the shape of the atom, the mass of the atom and the valency, molecular mass and the concept of mole. Then you are going to study radicals. Now see, can you recall what is the Dalton's atomic theory? Okay, so what is this Dalton's atomic theory? This you have studied in your earlier classes. You are just going to recall this. Say, Dalton's atomic theory was the first complete attempt to describe all matters in terms of atoms and their properties. Okay, so that is, Dalton told us that all matters are made up of atoms. Atoms is the basic unit of matter, isn't it? And that is, Dalton based his theory on the law of conservation of mass and the law of constant composition. So he told us this theory also, that is, he framed this theory on the law of conservation of mass. Okay, so what is this law of conservation of mass? That is, during the chemical reaction, okay, the mass of the reactants is going to be equal to the mass of the products. And the law of constant composition, the composition of a compound is also going to be same. Okay, so it will not change. The first part of his theory states that all matter is made up of atoms which are indivisible. So he told us, okay, this theory you have studied, that all matters, okay, yes, is made up of atoms which are indivisible. So this is important. He said that, I told you just now, that all matters are made up of atoms and you cannot divide this atom. That is what he had said. That is, you cannot divide the atom. How are the compounds formed? So how is a compound formed? A compound is a substance formed when two or more elements are chemically joined. Okay, so when do we say, the difference between element and compound, isn't it? So what is this compound? When two or more elements combine together chemically, isn't it? That time we say that a compound has been formed. Water, salt and sugar are examples of compounds. Okay, so what are the examples? Water, see, salt and sugar. So these are the examples of compounds. Okay, so when the elements are joined, the atoms lose their individual properties and have different that is and have different properties from the elements they are composed of. So the elements, okay, when they combine together and form a compound, that time the properties of the elements will be different from that of the compound which has been formed. For example, I will tell you, see, yes, now for example, you take hydrogen. Wait, I'll show it to you. Okay, see, hydrogen plus oxygen is going to give you water. Yes, so what happens over here? Now see, hydrogen, okay, it is a gas. Oxygen is also a gas. Yes, but water, which that is a compound which has been formed, okay, it is a liquid, right? So this is a gas, this is a gas and this is the liquid. Now see, this hydrogen which is there, okay, it is a combustible gas, means it burns, right? Oxygen, It is the supporter of combustion. Means if you want to burn something, you'll have to burn it in presence of oxygen. Only then it's going to burn, isn't it? So oxygen is a supporter of combustion. But water, it is neither combustible nor a supporter of combustion. So this, that is, if you want to put out the fire, you are going to use water. That is, you are going to throw water on it, right? So you have seen this hydrogen, oxygen, okay? The properties of hydrogen and oxygen is entirely different from the water that has been formed. Now see, what are the molecular formulae of salt? Okay. Now what is the molecular formulae of salt? Salt, what is the formula? For example, common salt you take. Yes, sodium chloride, right? Yes, slaked lime. Okay. So what is the formula of slaked lime? Calcium hydroxide, isn't it? Yes, this we call it as slaked lime. Water, the formula H2O, right? Yes, then the sun, lime, yes, lime is calcium oxide, right? Yes, and uh, limestone, so limestone is calcium carbonate, is called as limestone. Okay, so in the previous standard we have learnt that compounds are formed by chemical combination of elements. We have also learned that an important principle of Dalton's atomic theory is that molecules of a compound are formed by joining atoms of different elements. So how is a compound formed? The compound is formed when, yes, by joining atoms of different elements. Yes, when that is when that is atoms of different elements join together, okay, that time a compound is formed. That is, chemically it is formed. Okay, now laws of chemical combination. So see, the composition of a substance changes during a chemical change. The fundamental experiment in this regard were performed by scientists in the 18th and 19th century. While doing this, they measured accurately the substance used and formed. The scientists Dalton, Thomson and Rutherford studied the structure of substances and the atom and thus discovered the laws of chemical combination. Scientists could then write the molecular formulae of various compounds on the basis of Dalton's atomic theory and the laws of chemical combination. Here we shall study, that is verify, the laws of chemical combination by means of known molecular formulae. Now see, the composition of a substance, okay, the composition of a substance is not going to, that is, it's going to change during a chemical reaction, isn't it? Yes, the composition of a substance is going to change. We have seen hydrogen plus oxygen, H2 plus O2 will become H2O, right? So the composition has changed. The fundamental experiment, okay, which was done in 18th and 19th century, they measured this accurately, okay, the substance which is taking part in the reaction and the products which have been formed, and they found when they measured, okay, that that is the substance, the reactants, okay, yes, the substance which had taken part in the reaction, their mass and the product which the substances which had been formed, okay, the mass of that both were same. So the scientists Dalton, Thomson and Rutherford, they studied the structure of substances and the atom. So this Dalton, Thomson and Rutherford, okay, they studied the structure of the substances and the atoms also, isn't it? You have studied this, I think, the structure of atom. So scientists could then write the molecular formulae. So they were able to write the molecular formulae of various compounds. For example, water, I told you, is yes H2O, right? So like this they could write, that is the molecular formulae of all the compounds. Here we shall verify. So now in the activity below, okay, we are going to verify the laws of chemical combination. How? By knowing the molecular formulae. Now see, apparatus, okay. So which are the apparatus you are going to take here? You are going to take a conical flask, test tube and a balance. Okay, so you are going to take what? A conical flask you are going to take. Then you are going to take the test tubes. Yes, and you are going to take a balance to measure also. Now chemicals which are used here is calcium chloride, okay, CaCl, 2, then sodium sulfate, that is Na2SO, 4, calcium oxide, okay, or quicklime, okay, that is calcium CaO, and water H2O you are going to take. Now see, activity, take 56 grams of calcium oxide, okay. So how much of calcium, say how much of calcium oxide you are going to take? Yes, 56 grams of calcium oxide you are going to take. And okay, in a large conical flask, and put 18 grams water in it. So see, 56 grams of, okay, calcium oxide you are going to take, and then you are going to add 18 grams of water. Okay, so measure the mass of the substance formed. Okay, so the mass of the substance which has been formed, okay, you are going to measure it. Okay, calcium oxide plus water, you know what will form by calcium oxide plus water? You know, calcium hydroxide is formed, right? So 56 grams of calcium oxide and 18 grams of water. So total mass is how much? Yes, 56 plus 18, that is 74 grams, right? Yes, total mass is 74 grams. Okay, so the substances which had taken part, okay, yes, those, okay, that is 74 grams. Now measure the mass of the substance formed. So the mass of the substance which has been formed naturally, okay, the mass of that substance is also going to be 74 grams. So what similarity do you find? You will find that the mass of the substances which are taking part and the mass of the substance which has been formed, okay, those are going to be same. Okay, so this is conservation of matter, right? What do you that is, you know, right? Your inference means the conservation, that is the mass is conserved over here. The mass is that is the mass is neither lost nor gained. So it's going to be equal during the chemical reaction. Now activity 2, okay, what you are going to do? You are going to take a solution of calcium chloride, okay. So you are going to take some calcium chloride solution in a conical flask. So you are going to take a solution of calcium chloride, that is CaCl2, in a conical flask, and a solution of sodium sulfate in a test tube. Then you are going to tie a thread to the test tube and insert it in the conical flask. So what you are going to take in the conical flask? You are going to take calcium chloride. In test tube, what you are going to take? Sodium sulfate. Then what you are going to do? You are going to tie a thread to the test tube and you are going to insert it in the conical flask. You are going to then seal the conical flask with an airtight rubber cork. Then what you are going to do? You are going to weigh the conical flask using a balance. After that, tilt the conical flask so that the solution of the test tube gets poured in the conical flask. Now weigh the conical flask again. See, I will explain it to you with the help of this diagram. Okay? Yes. Now see, in this first figure, okay, yes, what you have done in this conical flask, you have taken calcium chloride solution, right? So in this you have taken calcium chloride solution in this conical flask. In this test tube, what you have taken? Sodium sulfate solution. Yes. Then what did you do? You weighed. Okay, you saw the weight of that, right? So see, yes, you saw the weight of it. So how much the weight over here? 300.23, yes, grams. Now then what did you do? You tilted the conical flask. You tilted the test tube, okay, in the conical flask. And then what happened? The solution of sodium sulfate from this test tube entered, okay, it got mixed with this calcium chloride solution, and the reaction took place between them, okay. Yes. Then what happened? The white precipitate of calcium sulfate, okay, in sodium chloride solution took place, right? Then what did you do? You saw the weight of this again. Yes, after the chemical reaction has taken place, you saw the weight of it. What did you observe? The weight is going to remain same, isn't it? 300.23 grams. So what does this mean? That calcium chloride, okay, the calcium chloride plus sodium sulfate solution, see, calcium chloride plus sodium sulfate solution, okay, formed calcium sulfate and sodium chloride. Yes. So what happened? Yes, this is an example of double displacement reaction. Also we will study in detail afterwards. So what happened over here? After the reaction took place, also the mass was conserved here. So there was neither gain nor loss in the mass. So law of conservation of matter. See, in the above activities, the mass of the original matter and the mass of the matter newly formed as a result of the chemical change are equal, isn't it? That's what you studied here, that the mass of the original matter and the mass of the matter which was newly formed, okay, both the masses, okay, remained the same. They were equal. So the French scientist in 1785, okay, yes, Antoine Lavoisier inferred from his research that there is no rise or drop in the, yes, what did he infer? Yes, that there is no rise or drop in the weight of the matter during a chemical reaction. So there is no increase also, and there is no loss in the weight of the matter also. So no gain, no loss during the chemical reaction. So in a chemical reaction, the total weight of the reactant, okay, this is important. See, in a chemical reaction, the total weight of the reactant is same as the total weight of the products. So total, which are the reactants and which are the products, isn't it? Reactants are the substance, okay, which have taken, that is, which are going to combine with each other, and this product is a newly formed substance, right? Yes. So the weight of the reactant and the weight of the product, okay, it is going to be same, and this is called as law of conservation of matter. See, I am going to show you a small clip, okay, regarding this.
Scientists studied these reactions and stated some laws of chemical combination. First one, law of conservation of matter. In a chemical reaction, the total weight of the reactants is same as the total weight of the products formed due to chemical reactions. Example, reactants are copper sulfate and sodium hydroxide. The total mass of the reactants is 60 gram, and after completion of the reaction, copper hydroxide and sodium sulfate will form. The total mass of the products will be 60 gram. It means there is no loss or gain of mass during chemical reaction. Second, law of constant proportion. To understand this law, first we have to revise how compound is formed. When two or more elements combine or react chemically with each other, new substance will be formed. Mostly they have totally different properties than the constituent elements. For the formation of new compounds, we have to understand certain rules. Suppose we want to prepare carbon dioxide from carbon and oxygen. Then we will have to take 12 gram of carbon and 32 gram of oxygen. We cannot add two elements in any proportion we want. The proportion by weight of carbon to oxygen while making carbon dioxide should always be 3:8. The law states that the proportion by weight of the constituent element in the various samples of the compound is fixed. This law was stated by French scientist J.L. Proust. One more important thing which we have to understand is that though the source of the compound is different, the proportion of the constituent elements is always fixed. Suppose we are getting water from different sources as a product of different reactions. Even then, the proportion by weight of hydrogen to oxygen in water is always 1:8.
Students, I hope you understood the law of chemical combination, okay, laws of chemical combination and the activities I told you. Yes, then this law of conservation of matter. I hope you understood both of this. Yes, so in the next video, let us continue law of constant proportion. Okay, yes, so go through this again and again. Yes, these laws are important. So let us continue in the next video.